welcome back to Trina's Tip Tuesday. I'm so excited about what we've got going on today. We're here with my friend Greg Lane. I've had him on before and he was talking about appraisals. He's with Timberlane Appraisal and we had so many questions about appraisals that I thought it would be great to have him come back to an actual house that I have listed. And it's under contract, so it's going to be appraised soon, and it'd be fun to walk through it with him so he could kind of tell us what he does, because it is selling season right now. I know a lot of you are getting ready to put your homes on the market. A lot of them are going under contract really fast. And wouldn't it be great if you just knew what to do when the appraiser comes? Yeah. So let's go on out and find Greg, because I believe he's here. There he is. Hi, Greg.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How's it going?
Great, thank you. I've already
Good.
been doing some of my inspection. As I'm walking up to the house, I'm looking at the landscaping. Nice looking house, great neighborhood, and checking out the driveway as much as we can see from the front as we're walking in.
So you do like around the whole house?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
What I generally do is look at the interior of the house first, which we'll do in a minute, I assume.
Okay.
And then we'll measure the outside of the home and take photos of the outside of the house.
Okay, so before we go inside, is it okay for me to be here as the realtor?
Absolutely. In my mind, you know what's going on with the transaction and with the history of the house, the listing history, I mean. So I want to know, what has it been like? What has your activity been like? What are things that buyers have said might be obstacles or reasons they might buy the home? You can fill me in on the contract, where it is, if anything has changed. For example, if there's an addendum and the appraisal is now subject to, or the contract is subject to a new roof, I need to know that, and you're here to tell me that.
I gotcha.
So all of that helps me out.
Okay, and what about the seller? Is it okay for the seller to be home?
It's okay if the seller's home. If the seller has a small dog and they can, put it aside so it's safe, comfortable for the dog and for me, that's great. If there's anything that needs to be done to the house, the seller lives here, they know what needs to be done before our inspection. Any rooms that I may not be able to see, such as a hidden half bathroom or a safe room, the seller can tell me that. So I prefer them be here if they can, but they don't have to be.
Okay, we do have a couple of those things in here.
Great, let's
hidden
take a
half
look.
bath, yeah. So come on in. Okay, so tell me about your inspection. So where do you start? How long does it take typically?
Personally, I start at the foyer. That gives me a correct bearing because, again, I don't live here. And when I go back to the office, I'm going to need to draw a sketch of this home. Come in a little bit. So I'm going to need to draw a sketch of this house. So I need to take notes of where these rooms are in relation to the whole house.
Okay.
I will be here for maybe 30 minutes inside,
Okay.
30 minutes outside. So most folks could plan on maybe an hour inspection time, unless it's a very large house, in which case it could take an hour just to measure it.
Okay, so I see you have a little checklist here.
Absolutely. This is how I do it. I know the things that I'm going to need to transpose later on onto the appraisal form. So I need to make sure I ask all the questions of the seller, if they're here, or the realtor, or anybody else, maybe the home inspector, that I can get all that information here, transpose it later. But I could walk through with an iPad if I were real techie like that and I wanted to
Well, you
put
are
everything
techie.
there. I am.
You just like the pad.
This is how I do. I've been doing this a long time. I like the pad, and I can ask you all the questions and write everything down and type it up later on. That's all.
Okay, so I also see you've got some toys with you. What do you have right there?
I've
Tape
got
measure?
my very technical $15 tape measure from Walmart.
Okay, it looks technical.
Yes, and we also bring a laser measure. When you're measuring the hard-to-get spaces in the garage, if there's something in the corner, for example,
Yes.
or you're measuring upstairs, trying to get the interior walls, this comes in handy.
How can I get one of those?
$40 on Amazon.
Really?
Be two
Because
days.
I have one, but it's not that, I mean,
Right.
it's
I
just,
mean,
it's generally just.
People ask how accurate is that?
Yeah.
I sometimes use a tape measure and this to double check. This is right on. And a lot easier to use.
I'm gonna get that on Amazon.
Do it.
Thank you. Okay, so where do you usually start?
Well, let's start with the dining room here.
Okay.
After we've seen the foyer. So here I'm looking at, or I'm writing down the fact that we have engineered wood floors that look brand new.
Yes.
Is that correct?
No, these aren't actually brand new. They just look good.
And then so
Yeah.
And then I noticed we had crown molding.
Uh-huh.
I looked at the windows from the outside. I said we have wood windows.
Yes.
And then we have wainscoting on the inside of the dining room. And we also have columns that mark the entrance to the dining room. So all of that comes into play.
Light fixtures?
Absolutely. And that should also be in my notes. So obviously this is this fixture right here is the jewelry of the foyer, right?
Yes.
And that's very important. It looks good. It looks
She'll
like
love that you said that.
she'll like I said.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's a recent purchase as well. It looks great. It's
Yep.
updated.
Yep. Okay, great. So do you want to go in the kitchen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so since there's not furniture in here, that makes it a little easier for you to measure.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know, we don't really need to measure the interior walls as much as we do the outside. And
Okay.
then we take out the garage. So if I'm the agent and I'm trying to get the bedroom sizes, I'm going
Right.
to measure the interior walls. But the appraiser getting the square footage of the home, we're going to measure the outside and then take out the non-heat and cooled spaces.
Okay. Okay, so when they purchased this house, it was the original kitchen, okay? And they have completely gutted it and put in new everything.
It looks fantastic. I'm assuming that coffered ceiling is new.
That's new.
Or library
Yep, light
ceilings, as some people
fixtures,
call
counters,
Countertops, cabinets.
everything.
This is what we would call complete renovation in the kitchen. And this is the #1 remodel expectation amongst buyers. If they can't
They
get
want a
past
new
the kitchen, they're not going to buy the home. So it's so important, and you don't want to see, say, a halfway done kitchen where we put new countertops on, but we didn't redo the cabinets.
Oh,
You
right.
need to just go all the way and do it all.
Just do it all.
It's the most expensive renovation, but it's also the most important.
How much on average is the average kitchen reno?
Generally, I see at least $50,000, which sounds like
Really?
the money goes quick. I mean, you're talking, everybody's doing granite countertops now.
Yes.
And the higher end the home, the more higher end, of course, your appliances would be.
Yes.
And then
They've
you
got
don't want
really
to
great
do a cheap fixture over an expensive granite island either.
I know she did it really great.
This
I mean,
this all comes together really nice. We also have new hardware on the cabinets that matches. It's not like we, put new countertops on and new lights, but then we left the old hardware in the house. Yeah. There's no evidence that it's not in the kitchen.
So this is one of the most important rooms then,
Absolutely.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's come back here then so that you can see the living room. Typically, we tell everyone to
Wow.
go ahead and pack everything up because you're going to be moving anyway. But in this case, with this bookcase, it looks so nice. I felt like it was okay to show like that.
This is fantastic. This is just, to me, that's a showpiece. We've got, I assume this is distressed wood,
Yes.
like almost like a ship up distressed wood behind
And
it.
they also added that. That was originally a wet bar right there. And
Okay.
they pulled that wet bar out and just made the space for the big TV.
And I tell you, I've seen homes not sell because there wasn't enough space for the
For the
60-inch TV, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want the fireplace to get in the way of the TV, heaven forbid. In this case, we have room for the fireplace, the TV, and family photos, and honestly, the way this looks, to me, that's a positive. So I'm glad in this case, they didn't move out, because to me, this adds to the decoration and the whole presentation of the home.
Yeah. This is my favorite rooms. Okay, so come on back here and I want to show you the master because it is on the main floor. Sometimes they're up and sometimes they're down.
Right.
So how do you feel about that?
It's to each his own, right? Depends on the buyer. There are some buyers that prefer the master upstairs and all the bedrooms upstairs. If your children are younger, you're thinking maybe we want to be on the same floor.
Right.
If you like to entertain a lot, maybe you want to leave your beds unmade and closets open, whatever, and nobody goes up there. You're entertaining downstairs. So the whole bottom floor
Think about
becomes that.
Yes.
Others, maybe if they have knee issues, for example, or they want to be, their kids are teenagers now, they want to be separate. There's
Okay.
so, but it just depends on the buyer. What we are looking for is a space here. This bedroom is large enough to have dresser, king size bed, and chair. But what if it was tight with the king size bed? Some would say bedroom's too small.
It's too small. Okay, so the last one is the master bath. We got to fit Kirsten in here too.
Come on. So this is usually number 2 on most buyers' lists, as you know. 'Cause
Right.
You're showing homes, you're selling hundreds of homes every year. And once they get past the kitchen, they're usually looking at the master bath.
Okay.
So it's nice to have both renovated, so we have a complete renovation as well, instead of, hey, we've got to spend another $30,000 to $50,000 in the bathroom, which you could spend.
Easily.
You know?
Yeah.
But what they've done here is a nice big shower with the frameless glass, which everybody wants. We've got the higher countertop,
Yep.
so it's today's standards for most people. And then we've got the tub, which with this very nice fixture. Is that a phone?
They do use it.
Is that a phone on top there?
No, it's like
That's a shower head.
it's a sprayer.
Like that. So, but this is exactly what I think most buyers want in this price range.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and get started with your appraisal.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming and doing this. And of course, you'll answer questions for anybody that's
Absolutely.
watching it, right? Because a lot of times they post stuff later.
Well, my pleasure. Let's do it again.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye.
Bye, guys.